This is day 260 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Kufayin Ches, Sif Tes Vav, still B'Shem Makam, and then going to Kufayin Tes Hey. Hatfilah b'emtza suda tesvav. Hatfilah b'emtza suda davening in the middle of the meal lo mikre hifsek. It's not called interruption on tzricha bracha. Acheres regarding on the bracha. Chaim shalach lispalel b'nizkar b'emtza suda. Therefore, you forgot to have in the middle of the meal. Yachol lispalel b'lo birchas hamotzi. You can daven without benching. B'lo birchas hamotzi achaka without making another hamotzi. Let me buy yesh lo shalus acheres suda lispalel. It goes without saying if you have time after the meal to daven. Does it mechachazi? Because then you wouldn't have to interrupt. So therefore, migo, you didn't have to interrupt. You don't have to bench and say amotzi. So then you didn't have time to finish your meal. You're compelled to interrupt. I feel like nevertheless will have 6 interruption. Came since you didn't leave your place. But washing, interestingly enough, you need. To have a hesach hadas, even though when the sum during tefillah, one's not going to touch the mekomas hamechusim. It's a big finish to me. Which is the Rabbah versus the Mogen Abraham. Yeah, that sounds correct. The Mishnah Berurah writes that specifically you daven at home. You went to shul and daven there. When you come back, you have to wash your hands. Bracha. Well, okay, that may be because who knows if you did it on the way back. Calls says Arukh HaShulchan. Always better daven in when you're home, or rather when you're having the meal, where you're having the meal. Rabbeinu Beis Yosef also, Kohen Beis Yosef is forbidden until you bench. Rabbeinu Ramah mutar. It's permissible. According to the parameters which we have explained. The Dow, you should know the Zel Dafka bracha lachrei koim on. So specifically, I think it's where you have to make the bracha afterwards in their spot. But a thing where there's no continuity, because then with something which doesn't require bracha afterwards in its place, tefillah have half-6, certainly tefillah is an interruption. Brings that back to the Taz, Sivkon Tes, Sivkon Yud, Harich Lachlok Al Shulchan Aruch Kosem El Yorabah, B'chol Dvarav K'dei Dechia Ayin. I'm sorry, he writes, the Rabbi rejects. Okay, he's doing lots of stuff which we didn't see. The Shara Tziyun says, you should not dive in the middle of the meal unless it's in your own house, in the same house, I should say, or where you leave some people there to come back to, and that continues the Suda even though you walked out. Tez Zayin. Adam sheyoshim mitzvah chasuda. A person fell asleep during the Adam sheyoshim suda. Adam sheyoshim suda. A person slept in the meal, a temporary sleep, like a nap. It's not an interruption, a short nap. It's not like we need a new bracha. He's not Mesir Das. It's normal to fall asleep for a short amount of time during the meal, especially Friday night. I feel like it's time answer. You don't even need to wash. The Mishnah Berurah disagrees with that. He holds the name of him regarding that you need to tell time, but just without a bracha. If you know for sure, you not touch the normally covered places. Also, if you interrupt with other optional things, such as when you went to attend your needs, to defecate. But there, since your hands get dirty, as we saw much earlier, you have to wash and make hamotzi, although you don't have to bench first. Ayin sim kupayin sif your gimel. Kuf ayin tes. Din ma kore hesach what is called distraction during the meal. Al kasatur gomer sudaso. The Torah writes that once you finish your meal, nothing the other ma'im achorim, and you watch the ma'im achorim chulei. Also shtos lechol ad sheyivarach alav tchila. You can't eat or drink anymore until you first bench. You can't tell you, can't eat or drink until you make a bracha on what you're about to eat or drink. The other who wants to wash my machonim in order to bench. You distract yourself from eating and drinking anymore. And the bracha which you made at the beginning of the meal does not exempt whatever you want to eat and drink from here on in. If you said what we say today, Rabbi Stein Baruch, Rabbi Stein benching, that's also a distraction, just like washing my machonim. All that's from the tour. But a separate birkas of mazon and that which you eat, you don't require. All the rabbis agree that Heschadas requires a new bracha beforehand. But benching, you can bench afterwards for both. After all, is it forbidden to interrupt between your regular meal and birkas hamazon with in some other manner cause as long as you have not moved from the place? Only between my machronim and birkas hamazon is impermissible to interrupt. So therefore, according to those obviously my machronim wash is negated because you ate afterwards. When the kohen birkas hamazon, he told you other before benching, you wash my machonim again. Base Rabbeinu base Yosef B'Sira go Tamala to Shishvan not tell you other Havlan Baruch. The base is not like the parallel between washing my machonim and saying Rabbi Stein Baruch. Veino came and he rejects it. The not tell you other came the Techmentila Bracha once wash my machonim since immediately after washing you're supposed to bench Habikilu Schil birkas hamazon. As if you started benching. Also, you can't eat and drink anything else until you bench. But if you say Rabbi Stein answer birkas hamazon, they don't have to bench to continue on. Just a new bracha on whatever you're going to eat. So he says, after my machonim, you're not allowed to eat anymore. You're ready. It's as if you start benching. You have to bench first, eat afterwards. But if you just say Rabbi Stein then you're allowed to. You're allowed to change your mind, but still need a new bracha rishayna. This is the base in the Shulchan Aruch. If you finish your meal, you have the mind machonim, you wash my machonim. Can't eat or drink until after you bench. We said Rabbi Stein it's a distraction, but also of chuli LNK baruch of tchila. I gotta show you don't have to bench. You have to make a new first bracha. On the common first Shulchan Aruch Chokolav. All the commentators on Shulchan Aruch argue the base. Ubir Bryce brew Muros and they cleared with clear-cut evidence. There's no distinction here, but Ikar Kadas Hatur. And that the primary halacha is like the Torah, there's no distinction between my Machor and Rabbi Stein Baruch. As the Taz and the Mogeh Avram, Eliyah Rabbah, and the Bach, and the Risha, and the Chaim Mefurish Babahag. Also, this is explicit in the Baal Halachas Gedalos, who is, of course, one of the Kadmonim. Zel Shoina, who says as follows. If you boil the Mishnah Maya or Mita Media beside the Mashiyote, if he wants to drink water or taste something after he washed his hands, Mevorech V'Shasa, he should make the bracha and drink, but the bracha because the Muslim then bench Akal Lashona. Lashona Mashbak says, from his language, it also seems, says a little bit, the Gam Eitzer Chachakach My Machronim, that you don't even need new My Machronim because you already washed My Machronim. I will call Poskim Milkoskim, but all the Poskim disagree, and then they say you do need a new My Machronim. Levad Zeh, besides that, Mashkas Rabbeinu says another Yadav, that which Rabbi Yosef said when he washed Chamir Baruch, it's more severe than saying Rabbi Stein Baruch. Rashi b'chidusha kasav lehefech. Rashi writes the exact opposite. The Avlon Baruch saying Rabbi Stein Baruch harei diber bepiv. It's a verbal statement. Shem said Misalik is atzam misudaso, that you're removing yourself from the meal. Mashem nothing other. It's supposed to just washing and chum. Therefore, the primary level is Torah. There's no difference between Rabbi Stein Baruch and my Machon. Bracket says this is that evidently you should first bench, ask questions. Bench first, ask questions later. That that's not necessary. Mishnah Berurah does say, and the Biur Halacha, that it's better to bench first, and let's say all the shitos, but Arukh HaShulchan does not hold that way. Gimel v'yesh avosation mechalkim ben achil l'shasiyah. There's some distinguish between eating and drinking in this situation. The achila afilu silek, the afilu silek es atzmo. That's his base. This is Gimel. Yesh avosation mechalkim ben achil l'shasiyah. The achila afilu silek es atzmo. By eating, even if you removed yourself, milachol, from eating, feel silk shul, and even if they remove the table. If I feel Amar Havla Barach, and he would say Rabbi Say Barach, Lavi Siluk, it's not considered to be a removal. And you can still eat without a bracha prior to what you're about to eat. You have to, but when you wash, you have to make a bracha. But that's by achila. But by drinking, when you remove yourself and drinking, siluk, that is a removal. It's tzarich lebarach, and you must make a bracha. When he was in the meal, gam lishtos mutar. Also, you could also drink. Okay, avashtia. See, avashtia. So I missed that. Avashtia. But if you're in a drinking party, right? So you say, guys, when you decide to stop, you have no choice but to make the bracha achroina. But that's only by a drinking party. If you're sitting in the middle of a meal, then even to continue drinking would be permissible. Rabbi writes, this business that it's not considered to be require a new birkas hamazon first is only in terms of eating. I'm saying it's only it's only that which they did require a new bracha to say bracha and new bracha. It's only by drinking. I mean achila, but in terms of eating, lo have sukkah. Kamayim achronim, it's not considered interruptions from mayim achronim, which you have to watch over again. He says in brackets. As shabbos shnei hasudas to brachas membeis psachim kuf gimel teisorosh kasu teretz achar and shem eli rabbi chriya kederi shona ayin sham. The rabbi says like the first opinion. There's no distinction between achila and shasiyah. Lani is daiti near the have hakopanis fake the dina. He says it's not necessarily true. Arukh HaShulchan. Excuse me. It's at least a suffix. The Hamel is killed Shem Gam arrived on maybe Shitazu because they didn't mention, perhaps they didn't take into account that the Rabbi holds also distinguish between eating and drinking. Near the suffix brachas lach and therefore be suffix brachas lach, they would not make two brachas achronis. You'd only make a new bracha rishona. Right. Mishnah Brura says he doesn't know what the halacha is, therefore it's best be careful not to eat after you say Havon of Rabbi Yisrael because it's a suffix bracha. Okay, Dal, the Ram Berg Dal, the issue Shita Cheres Bizarre. Rambam is it's different. But Torah Shon Lo Yu Dai to Cloud, Torah Shon did not bring his opinion at all. So Rambam says, if you decide it in your heart, you're not going to eat or drink anymore, but then you change your mind to eat or to drink, even though you didn't change your place, make a new bracha. If you didn't make this decision, you have mind to eat and to drink, even if you interrupted for the entire day. Wow. You don't have to make a new bracha. The temple love, that's they were astounded the Rambam. The Heti makes Kashas Baruch Shem the Gomar Lo Abesil El B'Mayim Achronim. That just having communals das internally making a decision is not considered to be an interruption unless you actually washed. And the Emes the Rambam Mayim Farish Zela Ian Berachas Hamazon. Things that the Rambam explained that's in terms of when you were required to bench. Not in terms of when you require the low bracha rishana, not in terms of when you have to make a new bracha before eating. The din the my machron because so pervav. He did write in the machron about machron the pervav. The chayza also pilushtos my machorach. At machron you can't even drink water until you make the birkas hamazon. The havla in the varech havli they come my machron. And for him Rabbi Sambarach is like machron. She can't go sabachar dina kodem. So it's right after the preceding halacha bezel shana. Hayu shoisim. They were drinking bo nevarech birkas hamazon, and they said let's bench. Now let's you drink until after Birkas Hamazon. Akan Lashon. Because of Koloshin Shas Pesachim Shom, the Kachil Maaseh. And he writes it like the language of the Gemara Pesachim, that was what happened. The Kain Darko leave Lila Shos Lashon Gemara because the Rambam's there is not to change the language of the Gemara. But the Rambam is between eating and drinking. And the Baruch having another Yodov. And this primary intent of the Rambam is that Rabbi Samarach is like my Mechorim. The idea came of the Zeu Shitas or Mashkasabnu. And even La we all like the Torah because most of the way come Roy Lachush Das Rambam. Unless it's worthwhile to be cheshish for the Rambam, and once you're Gamar Belibo, then that you require afterwards a new bracha Rishona. At the very least. In other words, according to Torah, it's only after you either wash, you do a Maisa, either you wash or you dibur, you do Rabbi Baruch. But according to the Rambam, even after Gamar Belibo, you still would make a new bracha. So therefore, but it's a suffix, right? Whether the Rambam is correct or not, and therefore you would be best off, like the Mishpur said before, benching first and then making a new bracha Rishona afterwards. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan of Kula, we also learn from his opinion on leniency. Even if you didn't interrupt you didn't get distracted from the idea of eating and drinking, even when it's many hours, as long as it's in the same place, there's no problem. But it's obvious that if during the time he was distracted from preserving his hands' purity, so it does not mean at least to wash over again. It's possible you don't need like bracha until you're dying, because he doesn't know if he touched any concealed places. The Maisa is not taking account sheer equal. I'm not sure after the 72 minutes we say sheer equal. I don't think you can say you're still part of the first meal in any event. Oh well, then maybe we'll come on to this later. Mishnah writes, if you're Mesiach Daito, you behead your belibo. You explicitly distracted yourself or removed yourself from drinking, and then you want to drink, you have to make a new bracha on the beverage. But writes, if you distract yourself, remove yourself from eating, even you didn't know Rabbi Baruch, it's very proper to be careful not to eat anymore, which is the end being choshish for the Rambam. Okay, hey, because of the Torah Shulchan Aruch, the Havlan Baruch ain't no shaykh el Baal Bayis. That Rabbi Baruch is meaningful. It's only when the Baal Bayis says it. To have a Hesach Hadas, then it's Hesach Hadas, but so if the Baruch and you need a new bracha beforehand. But somebody else's table, got a reach, such as a guest. Shomar Havlan Baruch, if you said let's bench, and again, Rabbi Baruch is the way we say let's bench before we bench, but you can say Rabbi Baruch without the nusach, or let's just say it in English, let's bench. So that is the same thing. The dibur itself would have the connotation of the meal coming to an end. But the Orel says also, as long as it be a distraction, the Baal Bayis says it. It seems also that his children and sons-in-law who were eating with him at the same table, the Shmuel Shalom means they're being supported by him and eating on his table. When they eat together, their statement is meaningless. But if they're eating when he's not around, near the dinam Baal Bayis, then they would have the Baal Bayis, and their statement would be meaningful. The Mishar Tziyun says that even if the Baal Bayis is not eating with the guests, but he called him to eat with him, nevertheless we say that even, in other words, he's eating by him, I guess, in the house, but not with the Baal Bayis himself. We say that when he says Rabbi Baruch, the guest is Rabbi Baruch. Mistam is that says that if the Baal Bayis asks him to eat more, he'll eat more. He's not going to refuse his hospitality. So therefore, his Rabbi Baruch doesn't work, even though he's not eating with the Baal Bayis because he's a guest. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, so too a guest at a hotel, so pays for his meal, Dino Baal Bayis. So Baal Bayis is eating from his own. Miras Baal Bayis nesu komsubim, and when the Baal Bayis says let's bench, everybody's forbidden to eat. They agree with what he's saying. guest can't be a dictator in this respect. Bialacha writes that this is also true about the Arukh HaShulchan, person of greatest stature at the table. But he says, well, maybe not, because the Lashon, the Shulchan Acherim is much specifically that there's a Baal Bais. It says, historically in Lamaisa. Okay, but Arukh HaShulchan says, when he gets Baal Bais, Nesukam Subim, Skill Varv, Avolim Loy Skill Varv. They rebel. They say, no, we're not benching. Ain't Sarach Bracha, they don't have to make a new Bracha. We'll push into it, and that's clear. Mishnah Berurah says, it's best for the Baal Bais to reveal before the people at the table that he himself did not have Esach Hadas, even though he said let's bench, that they shouldn't think that he's changing his mind. You can say, well, it only meant let's bench as a proposal, not as a definitive statement. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, close to Behavlon Nevarech. It says let's bench. But you watch my Machronim, ain't chiluk ben Baal Bais Acher, there's no difference between Baal Bais and anybody else. Yesh Vishom are those who say that feel Behavlon Nevarech. If the guest had decided he's not going to eat anymore, even if the Baal Bais eats, name changes his mind, he's got to make a bracha. It does not seem for that way from the poskim, and Mishnah Berurah also agrees that it doesn't seem that way. He does say Yerabah masking to the Magen Avraham disrespect, but sorry here. He says V'dad the gam netilas hakos, taking the cup for benching. Kosher bracha because it was like as if you wash your hands. If you didn't say, hey, Rabbi, let's bench, and you didn't say, also didn't wash my machronim, once you pick up the cup for benching, then you have distracted yourself. Avram, right? Because it says back it's going to be Avram. So you can feel your dying. Picking up the cup is tantamount to having washed Mayim Achronim.